So I have this dream of becoming self-sufficient, but I don't have the knowledge yet. But one of the steps of getting there is making my own beer, and I've actually started doing just that with a simple recipe, and I'll have a video up on that later on. But for now I need to make something that can hold all of the bottles. So this week the project is making simple beer bottle crates out of wood. So let's get started. So this is one of those projects where I don't want to spend a lot of money. So to make this, I'm just going to use these pallets. I don't know why I decided to lift it up. It's so unnecessary. So the first step is to strip them down and mill all the wood. Alright, so I have all the material milled down. It's not perfect, but doesn't need to be, because I'm going to stain the wood, and I actually want it to look kind of old and rustic, like it's an old beer crate. So the next thing I'm going to do is glue up the side pieces, because they are going to be one entire piece so that I can laser engrave on them. And then on the sides I'll just put a couple of boards across to prevent the beer bottles from falling out. So yeah, gluing up. Now this has been drying overnight, so let's make some handles. Alright, so it's time to make these look old, and to do that I'm just gonna pound them with some nails and screws. And to stain them I'm going to use a mix I've made myself. I reached out on Instagram to ask what was the best method, and I got a lot of tips from everyone using vinegar, coffee, tea, and what actually looked the best when I was trying it out was mixing some of them. So in this mix I have vinegar, I have some black paint, I have some light walnut stain, and just mixed everything together, and when I tried it that was looking the best. So I'm just gonna beat this up a bit and then I'm gonna stain it using this homemade stain. Alright, so before I start assembling everything and make a bottom for this, I'm gonna do some laser engraving on all of the pieces because I think that looks kind of nice. So I'm gonna start by engraving my logo on the handle pieces. I'm using an Ortur Laser Master 2, nothing fancy, but it works great for this. I'm just gonna hit it. Alright, so as you probably saw, I made the bottom out of plywood and I stained it and I attached it and I used the router trim bit to make it flush with the crate. And I also lasered out of foam this simple inlay to, yeah, just to make it look nice. And it does really look awesome instead of bare plywood or stained plywood in there as well. So the last thing I'm going to do is add this edge banding, as they usually did that on these old crates. This is one from Coca-Cola, and as you can see on the edges here, it's got this edge banding that is kind of keeping the bottom safe, because I've only just glued and brad nailed the bottom to the crate. So adding this edge banding will prevent
the bottom from falling out.
Alright, so all that's left now is filling them up with bottles. Okay, so I gotta say I'm really pleased with how these came out, and also I'm one step closer to being self-sufficient on beer. I have some stickers printed, but unfortunately the beer isn't done yet, so I filled this one up with some apple cider, but just to try it out. Well, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.